Welcome everyone, you are listening to and perhaps watching Hot Sauce Sports. I'm your host, Pease Delarize. I am moderately warm today. That is my update on the temperature of my body.
How is that news?
It isn't news, we're not at news yet.
It's been hot for the last fucking 5 days.
That's true.
And it's hot too.
I don't know what that means. And it's hot sauce too. I don't know what that means.
Correct. We have a lot going on
Never
today.
watched Pootie Tang?
Never.
Oh, you have to watch Pootie
Pootie
Tang.
Tang, yeah?
Yeah.
I heard of it.
I don't know what this is, it sounds awful.
It's a movie
don't-
directed by Chris Rock and Louis C.K.
No,
Really?
I know what it is. I don't think I've ever seen
Oh, then I actually will check it out. That
It's actually
sounds delightful.
terrible.
it. Is it the one...
That's okay.
Is it the one with Jamie Foxx?
No.
Which is the one with Jamie Foxx where it's like him and his buddy that are on 2 dates?
Django Unchained.
No.
Yes.
All right, that was the end of Hot Sauce Sports.
The
It was
first-
a good run.
The first date was Django, the second date was Unchained. The two voices a year discussing stupidly are Terry Tam.
Not Pootie Tang. It was, how's it going? It's Booty Call?
Oh, look at that. That sounds more accurate, to be honest.
Check Jamie Foxx movies. It was probably early 90s.
The gentleman who is looking up booty call on his computer. I'm really happy we don't have an IT department yet. Is the Eagle at Master Control. Hey, Eags, how's it going?
Googling, but I'm good.
Actually, well, you don't need to Google because we'll introduce him right now.
Yeah,
And,
that's the
we
thing I'm
have a
about to
guy-
do, Terry.
Yeah, okay, sorry. You go ahead. You do it. Yeah.
We're also joined by the latest member of our team. We're really happy to have him. John Eamon joins us today on the show. He's joining us here, and he's going to join us at the end of the show, but I'll let John introduce himself, and then I'll explain the contract a little bit later.
Johnny, how's it going, buddy?
What's up, guys? Very happy to be part of the team. Terry, just so you know, the movie was called Booty Call.
There
it
we
was
go.
in 1997.
97, I said.
Cast and crew included Jamie Foxx, Tommy Davidson, Amy Monique Waddell, and Vivica A. Fox, just for a couple names there. But very happy to be part of the team, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, John, no problem, John. We would love to have you on. I mean, you've contributed a lot in the last week or so that you've been involved. All the articles, the Olympic team rosters, the hypotheticals, that's all John. John's been on fire, blogging every day pretty much. So, John, thanks for that. Go ahead, Pete. You wanted to talk about something very important.
No, not really. The only thing is I want to say, John joins us today. He's going to be fact-checking us because
Johnny Factually.
we found out that there's an issue with you and I, Terry, and
Yeah.
our lack of credibility. So we
Yeah.
got Big J journalist John Eamon to join us. He's capital J because his name starts with J, not because of the journalism.
I also learned to not wear a black shirt anymore.
Yeah, it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
So, just to give everyone a quick update, we used to have Duke performing this role, but then we realized he doesn't know anything.
It's
Yeah,
not
and
even that.
you just
It's
stare at us.
It's not even that. It's like he doesn't even know how to search. Like, dude, and he'll be like, "I'm on it," and then we're, okay, he's on it, and then somehow we never get the it.
I actually have a theory that Duke has a different internet from the rest of
He
us.
uses like Bing or Alta Vista. Or something.
But not only that, like the algorithms, because everything he looks at is so fucked up
Yeah.
that whatever comes back to him, like we look up children's choir, right? We get a children's choir.
Yeah.
He looks up children's choir and there's a church on fire. Somehow, for
Pretty
some
su-
sk that's his first
Pretty
result.
sure he's using like Yandex, the
Yeah,
Russian
yeah.
search engine, you know?
Alta Vista for sure.
Speaking of Russian search engines, Wayfair finds themselves in the news related to Yandex. It turns out there are people all across this flat earth who believe that Wayfair is using their site on the mainstream internet to sell to traffic humans. And the reason is that there are cabinets that are kind of expensive.
So I'm gonna tell you, I'll be very honest right now. I kind of believed it. I'm a huge conspiracy theorist guy, so I kind of believed it, and I still believe it. Actually, I still believe there's something that happened that started this whole chain.
It
I
was
do
a
think
dude
that.
on. It was literally a dude on Reddit
Yeah.
who said, "What if the reason was?"
No, but didn't they send like a bunch of examples? Like they sent
It
all.
started with a guy with a screenshot saying, "Hey, this cabinet should be worth like $300. Is priced at 15 grand. The name of the furniture make is after this kid who got kidnapped like 6 months ago or something. So clearly, the explanation is they're trafficking children through Wayfair.
So here's the thing.
It's a
Pizzagate.
pretty big leap.
Pizzagate.
Also was proved to be false.
Yes.
So
I mean, is
similarly-
it though?
Well, it was proven to be false. Yeah.
I mean, there was a guy that went to the restaurant, the pizza parlor, and ordered something, and on the menu it said "kids" for free. It said $0 kids. But
I mean,
because
I meant the kids ate for free. I
it's
would
probably
imagine.
kids. Yeah, kids ate for free.
Not that you eat the children for
yeah,
free.
exactly.
But John will check that up.
And
for
he
us, of
tried to
course.
sell it on Amazon for
How
years.
how much does it suck when you start working here? We give you all the worst jobs. For example, correct Peace and Terry.
Or are they the best jobs?
Not clearly not.
So
Um,
we can disprove this ourselves, by the way, where we can just pool 10 grand and buy a child or furniture and then return it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. That's one way. Also, we could just use common sense.
Yeah.
One of the things that's come up about this since is that turns out a lot of the cases that people were referencing have already been resolved in that the children were already found or not, or found dead or so on and so forth. The other thing is that when it comes to the likelihood of names, with 800,000 people that are kidnapped in the U.S. alone, there's a high likelihood that if you use a human name, it'll eventually come around. Like IKEA
course,
used
especially
Billy, right,
Yeah.
for their shelf. IKEA wasn't like hiding people named Billy in shelves, like, as far as I know.
But Peace, that's what they want you to think,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just this whole, you have to think about it.
What makes the IKEA meatballs, right?
I mean, exactly.
Now we know. Terry Ed.
This episode of Hot Sauce Sports is brought to you by Mike's BBQ Rub, home of the best rubs in town, and La Sauce barbecue sauce. Visit Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com, and use Hot Sauce 10 promo code for 10% off on all individual bottles. That's Hot Sauce 10 for 10% off. And don't forget to rub your meat, as you can see on the screen.
I never once have forgotten to rub my meat.
Never stop to rub my meat. I mean, I'm a big meat rubber.
Yeah, every time that I possibly can,
Yeah.
I make sure to rub my meat. Make sure that it is properly tenderized.
And this is it's our first official sponsor, Mike's BBQ Rub. He's a great guy. I spoke to him on the phone this week, and he's partnered up.
Just
with us.
remember, it's spicy, so before you touch your face, wash your hands.
It's actually not that spicy, but whatever. That's fine. There is
or any
spicier
other part that you want to touch after rubbing your meat, make sure that you wash your hands. News. Feel free to
It'd be
do
great
your job.
if we started that. Thanks. Maybe John's gonna start correcting Ethan with all the fuck ups he does.
Terry is the news.
Hello.
How's it going, bud?
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad. The first thing we'll start with today is we are all talking about the return to sports, of course, but the NBA seems to be well on track, and as can be predicted, notably by Stephen A. Smith, some risks and issues have come up. The first of which was an issue of thumping in a hotel. We have a
thumping?
report right here. Bleacher Report reported that there was thumping in the players' quarantined hotel.
Oh, that
I
was.
did hear that there was a disturbance complaint in one of the hotels, though. What was that about?
Well, last week, during the quarantine period, the hotel that the Miami Heat were staying at, a security guard received a complaint of disturbance. There was a loud thumping going on. So sources told me that the security guard went over to investigate, found the room, knocked on the room, and who opened the door? It was Miami Heat forward Jimmy Butler, drenched in sweat,
Butler's a
with
forward?
the practice gear on from head to toe. He was dribbling a basketball throughout his room the whole time. And so even during the quarantine period, Jimmy Butler was still getting his practice sessions in.
So this is the reason why they're going to be successful, and we're going to hear about this fucking story for the entire playoff.
Possibly. But that's like, if you buy into any of the Miami Heat, sort of like the culture, all the cheese that comes along with
Yeah.
it, and how Jimmy Buckets is like the best representation of that, like,
Yeah.
After Dwayne Wade sort of passed the torch,
Yeah.
then this is that next layer. You know what I mean? Like Jimmy Butler is exactly the kind of unbalanced individual it takes
I love
to play for Spoelstra and Pat Riley.
Or was he role playing with some chick that he hit in the
Hey.
bathroom, and then, I
Just
was
blamed it
dribbling.
on dribbling, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure. I mean, I don't know what that. It really sounded like Twilight Zone sound effect.
She was helping with his handles.
There's also thirst traps. That's another big problem.
Yeah, so we've also seen that too. An IG model called Ugly Anna posted on Twitter that she's already been invited into the quarantine zone by an unnamed player. My favorite parts of this, by the way, is that she was already invited, and it took 6 seconds. This was the thing Stephen A. Smith was worried about with the NBA bubble. It's already happening. The next thing was that she apparently, the next post was her a screenshot of her text with her mom, and her mom was saying, "Why did you Takeshi the situation?
Why'd you rat it out?
Yeah, why did you rat?" And she's like, "Well, I didn't say the player's name."
Yeah, but that means they're all gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, well, but because it's also not the only DM that's gone out, right?
For
J.R. Smith's phone alone must have
For
70
sure.
outgoing messages.
For sure, all these guys, man. Basketball guys are known to be like the ultimate fucking stick man. They just go out and bang everything. You know what I mean? They're for sure having girls over. For sure. And wasn't there a reporter or something that said, or one of the players, said, I'm gonna be worried about how many girls I'm gonna be able to get in my room or something like that. Obviously. And then some idiot on Twitter is like, "Oh, you think Crosby's thinking about banging girls in his room?"
Probably.
Actually, probably not.
Really?
Crosby's probably legit the guy stick handling. But then it's gonna
He's
be
the Jimmy Butler.
but
of
it's
the
gonna be
NHL?
but it's gonna be in Canada, so the people below him are gonna be like, it's okay, it's Crosby. You know, it's fine. He's playing hockey.
Yeah.
He's
There's no chance
he's
of having
taking
sex.
slap shots at a dryer. You know, he's fine.
But really, he's just plowing 9 chicks.
Yeah, exactly.
All of that possible. There is a chance that this could create, like, if this is happening to one of the league stars or on a team where there's a league star. So, for example, and if this happens to be one of the Lakers and LeBron goes down, or if this happens to be one of the Bucks and Giannis goes down, already there are NBA journalists talking about how this season has sort of will have a sort of an asterisk attached to it, which is something we've of course laughed at because we don't nobody remembers the Spurs won in a certain season, but whatever.
I mean, nobody remembers who won the Stanley Cup on a shortened season. Who
the
was
Devils did one. We did this already. The Devils won once in a shortened season, and the last one I forgot.
How many shortened seasons?
There's
has there
been 2.
Who won that year?
John, make sure you look that up because I'm pretty sure we're getting all of this wrong.
Was it Carolina won the year they came back. It was the year that Subban won the Norris.
Pittsburgh won, didn't they?
Pittsburgh.
Or Chicago.
Chicago won. Yes, it was Chicago. Fucking Eagle. Good job.
There we go. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's wrong.
Yeah, it's the year they beat the Flyers, I think, in 6, where they had that weird goal right at the end of the third period.
Yeah, exactly. With Patrick Kane.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then he got drunk and beat someone, or I forget exactly
Why is
what.
John here if you're just going to say all his information?
You're wasting time.
You can continue.
Pile onto the mistakes, Eagle. That's the job here. Russell Westbrook got COVID-19, which of course, we don't wish illness on anyone else. I will say, do we know how long COVID lasts on surfaces?
24 hours.
24 hours. So that's not bad because we know for certain that none of his teammates will catch it because it's not like he's passing the ball.
Oh!
At any time.
See, you needed a boom boom there, but you didn't get
Yeah.
it. But, Eagle sucks.
So it's him and Harden are the only 2 at risk on that team. Everyone else just stands around anyway.
But
they're in quarantine on the court.
They're only going to get it when he gives the teammates his ball before they call timeout, so he doesn't consider himself a turnover.
Correct. Yeah. That's not bad.
He does that though.
I know.
It's
Because he already turns the ball over a ton.
Yeah. So to reduce his turnovers, he gives his teammate the ball before the timeout. That's just crazy. That's so stupid.
And it's funny is all this is happening on the Rockets, who are one of the biggest analytics team, and this is just because he's gonna get in shit from Daryl Morey.
Yeah,
he's like, listen, man, you gotta limit turnovers, and meanwhile, there's someone on the team who's getting 60% of his turnovers because of Russell Westbrook.
Exactly.
PSA to our audience: if ever you're gonna Google rim shot, be very careful.
Very careful. Be aware of what you are about to see. The internet is a vile place.
Yeah, turns out again we can't have IT security. For Hot Sauce Sports.
No, absolutely not.
We will all be fired by ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Next,
Adrian Wojnarowski suspended. He dropped a different kind of Woj bomb. This time in the mailbox.
So he said "fuck you" to a senator.
Senator John Hawley.
I don't know what the context was.
The context was confusing because it was a senator who, spoke out against the Black Lives Matter movement, but then was speaking against American involvement with Chinese corporations.
Okay.
But then all of this happened on Twitter, which was done on phones produced in China.
I don't get why Woj would get suspended. Wojnarowski. Okay, why Woj would get suspended for something that he said to a guy who has nothing to do with basketball.
Because Disney no gusta making fun of the U.S. government with China.
No gusta.
It's a delicate ecosystem to begin with when it comes to the NBA and China.
But he's Woj, man. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's literally the best insider.
I have a conspiracy theory.
It's him, Schefter, McKenzie.
But I mean, the easiest thing you can do
Aaron
is
Helwani.
quit, have his own sports agency,
That
and then
doesn't work.
make a shit ton of money off
It doesn't work.
of it. With his rep,
Really?
he probably could.
Name the people who leave ESPN and make more money after. Isn't Colin Cowherd in his giant desk with nobody around him?
That's the
yeah.
one.
No, it's not. Well, he made more money, but he has less people listening and less people watching.
Yeah, ESPN is obviously it's the place
The thing
to
is-
be if you want to be that. You know what I mean?
If
But
you want to be
Schefter-
at the top of your game, like you don't choose the CFL over the NFL, right?
But look what they have. So the 4 insiders I named that are the best. There's Woj, Schefter, Helwani, and McKenzie. McKenzie works for TSN, which is
owned by-
owned by ESPN. The other 3 are owned by ESPN. Their bosses are ESPN. So ESPN is the place to be. So you can't go anywhere. He's not going to go to Fox and get the same thing. But the only thing with Woj,
and if you want to be
his
wrong,
power-
you can be Broussard and you can leave ESPN.
Exactly. I can't stand Broussard.
Because part
Oh
of the
my
thing,
God.
part of
I
why,
can't stand him.
like Woj already built up the credit, but before he joined ESPN, but now
the
that he's
thing-
been at ESPN, it grants him so much access he didn't have before.
The thing about Woj is that I didn't even know who he worked for until he got suspended. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's what most people do. He has, like Eagle said, he has a following. Maybe he might not make the same amount of money that he was,
but maybe he might.
he doesn't
be-
have to work for anybody.
Yeah, he can tell whichever senator he wants to go fuck himself.
Yeah, but the other thing, but ESPN might tell these teams, don't give Woj information.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's the other
because the leagues are in partnership with ESPN.
Just like Dana White did with Ariel Helwani, he kind of almost ruined his career. He banned him from coming to events. He told Fox that they had to fire him, but they didn't. He ended up leaving. So ESPN will not shy away from listening to the people that they're partnered with.
Absolutely. So that's I found that to be shocking to a degree. Look, in the end, he's a reporter, and he kind of let the comments get to him, right?
Yeah.
Like if we were to let comments get to us, and anybody doing any level of this, you can't do your job.
No.
It's surprising for someone with the big cock of Adrian Wojnarowski. And that's another. I think he has a future on OnlyFans. If he can break news naked, that's the way. That's the way you take
But
down.
they had
ESPN.
that. It was called The Naked News.
Yeah, but it didn't have
It's not
Woj.
Woj though.
But it did have Woj.
Like who would be the one person, the one insider that you'd want to see naked breaking news? I'm gonna have to say Bob McKenzie because I'm just curious.
Aaron Andrews.
Really?
I'm talking about men
I mean,
here. I'm not
dude,
gonna get
come on. We're doing the thing. We're obviously choosing men because 2020.
Yeah, all that.
Come on, pay attention.
I think it's Bob McKenzie.
I'm
'cause,
still taking Aaron
like I
Andrews.
said, I'm just curious because he's for sure got craters all over his body, and he can't reach his ass. 100% he can. He's a big boy.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully he's reached a point of success where some other people need to reach his ass.
I think
Or
he
maybe
has.
he's got that Japanese toilet.
I
Just
think he
washes
has.
the ass.
That's a good point. Yeah, Japanese toilets.
Oh, by the way, I'm
Second best
redoing
Japanese whiskey.
I'm redoing my bathroom. John, I need you to look up how much one of those Japanese toilets will cost me. So I need that. Again, you're gonna learn how terrible working for us is. Right on.
Very
there.
sports related.
Very sports related. We need to know because listen, if I can't take a shit, I can't be on Twitter.
Yeah.
If I can't be on Twitter, I can't read you the news.
I
there.
got a lot done on Twitter today. I was on my way here. I mean, I had an appointment before this. I had an appointment to get a tattoo, and as I'm getting my tattoo,
What'd you get?
I got a American traditional dagger going through a heart.
Is it from the time you broke my heart?
Yeah.
All right.
And it says peas right on the dagger.
I would imagine.
And
If it doesn't, it will next time you
I
drunk.
actually read 3 of John's articles.
Nice.
I read 3 of John's articles, and I was on Twitter, man. I love it.
He's by the way, John's a monster. Like fuck
Amazing.
Woj.
Amazing.
Like we got
Fuck Woj, yeah.
we got the next Woj with John.
We got Eamon.
Yeah. Steeman, John Eamon.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
I like
Duke is not listening.
I know. Kenny Stills.
graphic.
Kenny Stills has been arrested in Louisville. The script just says after A, and then I got tired of typing.
So he was protesting, but I don't know
Yeah.
what he did exactly. That's a felony charge.
He was standing on the lawn, or essentially the property of the Kentucky Attorney General, which is
Okay.
technically a crime.
Felony, okay.
So yes,
And
and then when he
he'll
was
be fine.
asked to leave, he stayed and essentially got arrested.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, I love how people
Good
are
for
giving
him.
him shit. They're like, "Well, when they told you to leave, you should have just left." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's how you solve problems." Because
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Rosa Parks was told to get off the bus, she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it.
I just
My bad."
I never.
Oh, sorry about that, eh?
I the Canadian.
is
Rosa
Rosa
Parks.
Parks
Canadian Rosa
Canadian?
Parks, yeah.
I
sorry, eh?
I just never understood
Sorry.
what it is that the people who say this is the wrong way to protest. I'd like to know what the appropriate way to protest is, because this was by all means
we've
peaceful.
heard
Oh,
that
no, the
kneeling-
appropriate way is walking into your government buildings, holding guns, and threatening to burst in and assassinate people if you don't get your way.
Canadian
Only
government.
if you're white.
and only if you're Canadian.
And only if it relates to masks. Because like masks are a bigger problem. Wearing a mask at Walmart is a bigger problem. Like Master Shredder took down the Ninja Turtles on a weekly basis wearing a mask.
Well, how many times did he actually take them down?
Well, okay,
though?
he tried.
Yeah.
He tried.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not for you to correct me. It's for John. John, I don't know exactly how many times the Ninja Turtles beat Shredder across all platforms. Also, he beat the hell out of me on Ninja Turtles the arcade game. So there's that.
There you go.
There's
This
that.
is like the 6th episode in a row that you mentioned Ninja Turtles.
It's
man.
weird.
I feel like you got like a little fetish
Wait,
going on.
um,
Have you been watching like Netflix on repeat or something,
The
like
sad-
catching up on all
the
this?
sad-
my buddy got the arcade game like box, like the actual arcade game in his basement, and kind of been crushing it. So
The saddest thing ever is a turtle on his back. It's sad because they die there if nobody.
I mean,
flips
most things are dying are experiencing sadness. Correct.
No, but it's sad for me to see because he has no idea what's going on. He's like, how come I can't move?
You could turn them over, Terry.
No, but if nobody's there, to
Is
turn
it like
over-
nightmares that you can't?
No, but
turn them
it's
over?
just such a sad sight.
If
because-
Kenny Stills is one of the Ninja Turtles, which one would he be?
Oh,
He doesn't strike me as a party dude.
No, I think he's
And he
more
doesn't
like-
look like he does machines.
I think he's a Raphael guy.
You think he's crude but cool?
Yeah,
I can see that. I can see that.
I think he is. I think Kenny Stills would be a great Raphael.
Or is he Leonardo because he's a leader?
If we
Shows
talk
leadership.
about NFL players that would be Ninja Turtles, you have to say Ezekiel Elliott has to be Michelangelo because something's not working up there.
Party dude.
Party dude.
He threw a party during COVID. So party dude.
Donatello's the smart one, or is Leonardo the smart one?
Leonardo's the leader.
Leonardo's the leader. So,
And specifically, it says so in the songs, Donatello does machines.
so Leonardo would be the Tom Brady, and Donatello would be, he's like the he's like the smart one, right? Like the educated one, the philosopher. So who?
So like Andrew Luck studied like neuroscience.
I'd say he's more of like a Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Okay, Harvard. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
I like it.
I say Ryan.
But who
Fitzpatrick.
does machines? Eagle. Which NFL player is most likely to do machines?
Ooh.
Has anyone like been arrested for like having sex with a fax machine in public or?
I'm just
Having
trying to think
sex
of
with a
someone
fax
who
machine.
like they've been like caught mowing their lawn on one of those like gigantic John Deere things, just
Yeah.
going
Like a
around,
DUI on a
or,
John
like,
Deere?
flying a drone, but I can't think of anyone. Maybe like the entire New England Patriots because of all the spy stuff.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
point.
not bad. That's not bad. So like Belichick is Donatello. That's not bad. That's not bad. I also runner up for Michelangelo Gronk.
Oh
There's no more party. dude
Forget
than
about
Gronk.
Zeke. I'm going Gronk.
Yeah,
100%.
he's
Yeah, that's a
he's
good
the
one.
patron
That's a
saint of partying.
It's a very good point.
Eagle, it's time.
Rapid fire. All right.
Where a lot of mistakes are made. John, pay attention.
The mistakes will be said as quickly as anything else that we say.
Exactly.
Simmons in a barrel. NBA superstar Ben Simmons caught a fish in Orlando. While his catch went well, the release was a little bit questionable. There's actually footage of this that we have available. So let me just grab this for you so we can all laugh together.
Always.
Here we go. And here it is. There we go.
Sir, easy. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Easy.
you ever heard you can't hit the water out of a boat when you talk about a guy who can't shoot? Ben Simmons is so bad at shooting from
From three.
distance
Yeah.
that he missed an entire lake with a small fish.
Like I don't have any faith that he's practiced his shot
This
at
is
all.
The saddest thing I have ever seen is this passes a turtle on its back.
It's
This.
up there with like if it was Shaq and like his free throw issues.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of player. Like it's the worst player in this era to have this video.
It's wild to me that this happened and we are able to see it.
It's also
crazy. to
he's
me.
a monster point guard, right? He's really tall
Very
for a
good.
ball handler, and he's like say what
Yeah,
6'9",
very
6'11",
big,
whatever
very
he is, John. But the thing is, he hasn't learned a trick, and this makes me question like who was around you. Everyone knows when you catch a fish, you got to put it as close to the camera as possible so the fish looks as big as possible. It works for fish. It works for penises. Ben Simmons, get your shit together.
Especially, he's so tall. Like, it's so tiny in comparison. It's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Thank you for
Exactly,
explaining the joke, Eagle. Nothing's funnier than when you explain a joke.
Welcome to Tuberville, population Tommy. Ex-NCAA coach
Tuberville.
Tommy Tuberville.
Tuberville.
You spelled it Tuber. So.
No, it's Tuber.
But
That's
it's
how
Tuber.
its name is spelled.
All right.
What if there's two B's, one B?
He looks
Two
set
Bs.
to run for
That's
the Republican seat in Alabama rather than the incumbent and former Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And I believe he did win, right? So he is going to be
Okay.
a running person.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
he theoretically not necessarily.
But
As we've seen before, you can win the primary and not be chosen by your party. Bernie Sanders.
I.e. Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. So in all likelihood, though, he will
Does
be
that
chosen.
work? Does that work at the state level?
It does, and it will work, especially here because Jeff Sessions fell out of favor with the Trump presidency because of what he did, during his time as Attorney General. So it does look like Tommy Tuberville is coming in, and just when I see this, I understand he's won some games in college football. Really, is that all it takes to become a state senator?
It's basically all it takes is enough people that 50,000 people came to watch you coach another 50 people every week. That's what all it takes is that these people are like, oh, I like him. He knows how to run play action, so I'm going to vote for him. He knows he knows policies.
In that case, Rick Pitino could be state senator 12 seconds at a time.
Who walked in just now is disgruntled ex-employee, soon to be future Mokan.
He is the hot sauce of past, hot sauce of future, and hot sauce of
where's
present.
my Liverpool mask, Mo? Well, you asked me about every other Liverpool freaking thing, but you don't ask me about this.
Well, I took offense to the fact that you're like, no, it's next year you're going, so don't ask me anything now.
And
so.
people can only hear one part of this conversation, Terry.
So Mo, just to give context, Mo is going to Mokan is going to London. When, Mo?
Actually, it's Preston.
Whatever. Press. He's going to England. When were you supposed to go?
Supposed to go today.
But he messaged me like 5 months ago saying, "Hey, I'm going to London. You want anything?"
Hey, I'm nice like that.
But like, thanks.
Why didn't you ask me?
Because
I love London.
You're not a Liverpool fan.
I still love London.
But he's going to London. He's going to Liverpool. He's not going to London.
I love the Beatles.
Anyway, next.
Just saying.
Miles to go before I sleep. Really? That's what you wrote?
That's
really?
awful. It's the worst one. Last week you're on fire. This week.
I know this week they were weak.
A lot of NFL contracts need to be signed before the deadline, one of which is Myles Garrett. He has agreed with the Cleveland Browns to a 5-year, $125 million extension.
Yeah.
It does not come with a concussion or a helmet to smack people with. Boys, your thoughts?
So I don't hate it. The only thing is I think that Myles Garrett is, from what we've seen so far, he's a great talent. Probably he's probably the best player I've seen coming out of the draft in years, legit years. The guy's running a 4.3 and he's 280 pounds. I think it's great. I just think that it might cripple the Browns.
Yes and no. Look, it's become clear to me that the way to win is quarterbacking and getting to the opposing team's quarterback. So you need to protect your quarterback. You need to get to the other quarterback. Myles Garrett's the guy who does that. I will say that I don't even blame him so much for using his helmet as a weapon because look at Mason Rudolph's face. He has the most helmet-smashing face in the league.
It's like,
so
even when he was born, his mom's like, fuck, I really want to take a helmet and just smash this kid's face.
And she went to like, how can I put this kid for adoption? And they're like, that's kind of expensive. Fine.
We'll keep him around. But we're going to make him play football, so potentially
maybe
somebody will throw a helmet at his face. Absolutely.
Miles to go before he leaves.
All right. Baby's got Dak. So it's been a few months. Dak Prescott, still no real agreement with the Cowboys. There's been a lot of talk about what it's going to be, about how they have to sacrifice their firstborn child to get him to agree to it and everything. And we have the latest report from Ian Rappaport.
It's not looking good as far as my understanding came for Dak Prescott to have a long-term or even a short-term deal with the Dallas Cowboys after today. Just a couple hours to go before the deadline. And from what I understand, no talks are scheduled right now between the Cowboys and Dak Prescott's agent, Todd Franson. You mentioned Jane Slater's tweet about the final offer. That actually came several weeks or maybe even months ago between the Cowboys and Prescott. They wanted to pay him about $35 million per year, around where Russell Wilson was, but they wanted a 5-year deal. Prescott wants a 4-year deal, basically the anti-Mahomes. He wants to hit free agency a little sooner. He wants to re-up a little quicker. And both sides are firmly dug in to their positions, which is why with no talk scheduled, with nothing expected today, my understanding is Prescott, at this point, barring some sort of late phone call, is expected to play on the $31.4 million franchise tag. Yeah. It's a nice payday.
Okay, so he's also, the rumors are he's going to get 33 to 35 million. That's what he's asking for. He wants the 4 years, which I think that the price tag is good for Dak Prescott. And I understand. I don't know who's coming into free agency at that time, at 4 years, or who's not coming into free agency, which is probably more important. Because he's the only guy going to free agency at that after 4 years.
4 years of football is a long time, right?
Not when you're 25.
Yeah, well, it depends because we've seen serious injuries derail guys' careers. That said, when it comes to Dak Prescott, I'm legitimately tired of talking about it. So
Yeah.
I'll just go with this because I only heard this clip now. Ian Rappaport only makes himself credible with the songs in the background. It's awesome. We need to do that. It's clear he took whatever soundtrack there was for NBA Inside Stuff and played some B-sides there, and it made him sound super crisp.
So maybe John can help us with this, but who's up for contract in 5 years? Who's not up for contract in 4 years? Because I think that's what he's aiming for. He's aiming to be the biggest quarterback.
But it's
in
also that the
market
cap,
that year.
because of the collective bargaining agreement, the cap's going to take a jump in 4 years. Was what they think.
Okay, makes sense.
Is what they're projecting.
Okay, too. Good.
I'm being told to go to overthecap.com by Mr. Mo. And
But that's not your job. That's John's job.
All right.
We have a researcher.
Last.
All right. Super necessary punishment. We had a bet last week. UFC, Fight Island.
Yeah.
Terry, who'd you take?
Usman.
Peas, who'd you take?
I took my boy Masvidal.
But we don't have
What
a bet.
happened?
Masvidal got destroyed for 5
It was
rounds.
a boring
but
fight, by the way.
It wasn't a boring fight.
Boring fight. I want to see somebody get their face kicked in.
I hate talking to you about fights. Listen,
Look, you know what I am? I'm a casual fan. I'm a casual observer.
No, it was a boring fight to the standard. Even for MMA fans, could have been a boring fight, but it was what you expected to happen. It was either that or Masvidal destroys Usman's face.
Gonna say though, Usman with the foot stomping, kind of a pussy.
It doesn't do anything other than just move the position. It doesn't hurt that much.
I know, but it's just loserly.
Yeah.
Guys, I'd like to fulfill my part of the bet, but I have no hot sauce to drink.
I completely forgot
We can
about that.
look,
So
but you know what? If you guys want, you can hit up Mike's Barbecue. Go with what's the promo code, Terry?
Hot Sauce 10 for 10% off on all
Get
individual
10%
bottles. It's
off.
on the screen right now. Mike's Barbecue Rub, MTL.com, Hot Sauce 10.
Maybe you can order some hot sauce next week for me next week, and I'll do my punishment.
There
Right
you go.
with Mike's hot
There
sauce.
we'll do that. I will be ordering a few bottles from Hot Sauce from Mike's Barbecue Rub. You should as well. Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com, Hot Sauce 10 for your promo code.
Yeah, that's so remember. Go to Mike's. What's the site again? Sorry.
Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com.
Why are you so bad at this?
I don't have a read in front
It
of
is a
me.
lot of abbreviations. I will send you the read.
Thank
and
you.
Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com. Use Hot Sauce 10 for 10% off on your promo code.
Absolutely. Remember to like, watch, and subscribe to Hot Sauce Sports. Terry, you were with Alex the intern on Weekly Sauce. What did you guys discuss?
We spoke about UFC 251.
So if you want to talk to two guys who understand the sport more than myself, that's
not
the
only
podcast
two
let's
guys.
do.
We had a guest. We had Adam Kaplan on, who I went on his podcast. He has his own podcast called Unanimous Decision. He's a boxer. He's one of the most knowledgeable guys I've ever spoken to. Great guy. We're gonna partner up a lot with him. So have a listen. It's on our YouTube page. And what Adam does super well too on his page is that he does 15-minute breakdowns. So if you want something quick about the fights coming up, then go listen to him.
Eagle, you got some bullshit.
There are 10 million
Picture, yeah.
particles in the universe that we can observe. Your mama took the ugly ones and put them into one nerd.
This segment is
the best
called
song ever.
Nert Alert, where Eagle explains things to Terry and I that
Yes.
we have no way of understanding otherwise, and will not understand after Eagle explains them to us.
Yeah.
They're usually related to e-gaming.
Overactive Media are going to build about a 7,000 to 10,000 seat capacity esports arena in Exhibition Place in downtown Toronto, which will host the Toronto Defiant, the Overwatch League team that they own, and as well as the Toronto Ultra, their Call of Duty esports league.
Okay, so Montreal is the farm team, no, of Toronto?
They was the farm team. They actually closed it down, but
I
yes.
still see them downtown on St. Lawrence.
They have the
esports.
esports center is there.
Oh,
But
okay,
the team has since disbanded essentially.
Oh,
like,
really? So we don't have one?
We don't have one today.
Let's start one. Do it. We call it hot sauce.
So
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
how much money is it going to take us?
Yeah. Like 15, 4, 5 billion?
I mean, if you want to actually get into the real league, yeah, probably about 20 to 40 million.
Okay,
Okay, well,
so-
ask Volkan, since he's buying $25 face masks, he can, $10 face
But it's
mask.
not bad, though, because what we do is get people to buy Mike's Barbecue,
Yeah.
use 10% off.
Yeah.
It means you got to buy 10% more.
Yeah.
And then we'll get ourselves an
Hot
eating.
sauce 10, Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com. Hot sauce
Eagle,
10,
find
10%
out which
off.
the cheapest kind of team we can own.
Uh,
Actually, John, sorry, Eagle, I don't mean to disrupt you with stuff that doesn't relate to you.
So all that to say, they've also done this the proper way. They hired former executive of the Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, Bob Hunter, to actually do all the coordination with the government, make sure it's all scheduled. He's been involved, obviously, with the development of, Rogers Center, Scotiabank Arena, BMO Field, a bunch of the other areas. Yeah. So it's a big investment, essentially, in Canadian esports, and so it's going to be like a hub for moving forward. So
and look, if honestly, Toronto Sports Entertainment, they're famous, of course, for owning the Toronto Maple Leafs, and if the track record is
it's
anything,
Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment.
We
Toronto Sports Entertainment.
We know that they won't do any winning in Toronto.
So now we're gonna push it to our new segment. It's called Corrections with Johnny Factually.
Jon Factually.
John.
What's the imaging?
What did we get wrong?
All right. So to start off, I underestimated this job. But
it's not that you underestimated. You underestimated us. It's nothing to do with the job.
I think he overestimated us.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. But to start things off quickly, peas, to address your IKEA meatball concerns, is made with meat, onion, breadcrumbs, eggs, water, salt, and pepper.
But wait. Do you know that it's not made with the children that are being sold in Wayfair cabinets?
I cannot confirm that, no.
There we go. So I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Just saying it's possible.
So far,
but I can tell you for certain that it is correct. You should wash your hands before touching any meat.
Okay, yes. You must rub your meat.
We've learned that during COVID, right?
Also, don't forget
to exactly.
Hot Sauce 10 promo code on 10% off on Mike's
Rub your
BBQ Rub, MTL.com.
Terry, Jimmy Butler's a forward. I know that you were wondering.
Yeah, I didn't know he was a forward. I thought he was a guard. But
positionless basketball. So looks like John, you're stuck in the 90s. Why don't you go play some NBA Jam?
So far, John, you've been wrong twice. So,
just saying. 2-0 for us.
This is a rough start. So the 2013 was the last year that I guess the only year that the league was shortened. The Blackhawks won that year, beating the Bruins in 6.
Yes.
It was actually the year, if you guys remember, the Blackhawks scored 2 goals with just over a minute left in the third to win.
Yeah. Was that the year that Patrick Kane? No, Patty Kane did that against the Flyers. It wasn't.
Exactly. Patrick Kane did that against the Flyers. He still won the Conn Smythe that year, so there's that. Next up, you guys discuss guys who left ESPN for more money. One big name is Jim Rome.
Jim Rome, big time. And I was a huge Jim Rome fan before, and now I don't know where he is at all.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't find. They might make more money, but you can't find them. I will say, John, you made another mistake. 3-0 on us. I'm literally looking at NBCSports.com. It says the New Jersey Devils would go on to win their first Stanley Cup in a shortened season of 2004-2005.
No, but he said the most recent was
most recent. I
so
thought he said
wrong.
only.
So you're wrong on this one.
I may have said only. Yeah, Pease may have me on that.
There we go,
John.
There we go.
You can't give him an inch.
3-0.
Go.
Pease is going to break me down soon, but
you're going to quit.
Pease, for your bidet, you have quite the range of prices here. So on Amazon, you can find them for $65.
Okay.
It's usually cold water only, so I don't know how you feel about that.
What terrorist would want cold water sprayed on their asshole?
Like cold water or like room temperature?
Yeah, like sink water, basically.
I think it's just it attaches to the pipe from your toilet. Like it just attaches on. It's a separate attachment.
Especially in winter, that's a problem.
Like you ever get that backlash when kind of like you get a big one that drops and everything? Like that's shivering and everything. I don't want that spraying on me on purpose.
So how much is one for warm water, John?
I think so. When you get to warm water, they start getting up to around $250. Can go up to $700.
That's not bad.
And then if you want to buy a fully integrated toilet, you can get them on Wayfair for $1,900.
Well, wait.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure if we're actually getting that from Wayfair.
So that's why maybe you want to go 65, but it's up to you.
And $1,900 on Wayfair. I mean, maybe you get baby. Maybe people who are trying to have babies and they can't, they just pay $1,900 for one, a really nice bidet, and two, a baby.
So this is what I'm going to say.
Or maybe it comes with a traffic child to wipe your ass.
Guys, I think we're going to solve this.
This is where Eagle goes way off the rails.
Yeah, you need to stop talking there, Eagle. I think we're going to solve the Wayfair conspiracy because I'm going to order that toilet, and we'll know. If I get a toilet, then we know the situation.
And there's a baby.
Then we have a problem.
In the toilet.
Instantly call 911.
With the umbilical cord cut off.
Yeah, it's a problem.
That's a problem. Is that it? Are we good? I think that's good.
Sorry?
No, I'm saying if that's the only mistake.
That's not bad. That's a good show.
Oh no! You guys got a couple more.
Nice.
So, but more so just some facts at this point here. Shredder.
Facts are the worst kind of information.
I know. Shredder. I cannot find actual facts on the losses to Ninja Turtles, but he does die in issue number 50. If anybody is curious.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
In issue number 50.
In the comic books.
I never read the comics. Just watch the movies. And
Is there like some like weird parallel universe or time jump or
but
something
there is
that brings them back to life?
There is one where
that's
they
getting
team
way
up with
ahead of my
Batman,
knowledge.
and they take down Shredder together.
Does he ever bang April O'Neil?
I can Google that if you really want me to.
I don't want you to get caught.
Use very specific keywords because you're gonna get to the Rule 34 stuff. Absolutely.
Oh, I already think I'm past. I'm past
Incognito, bro.
I think
going
that
that way.
that search is the quickest way to get to 4chan.
Incognito, bro. Incognito.
Oh, yeah.
Control Shift N saves your life. Next.
But I will say, probably my favorite thing that I looked up for you guys, there was a man in Manitoba who got a DUI for driving on a John Deere to pick up more beer.
Donatello.
Hey,
Donatello right there.
I love that.
Ben Simmons is 6'10".
All right. I said 6'9" or 6'11". I just skipped over 6'10". John got me on that one. That one I'll admit I was wrong.
6'10"?
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Yep.
man. No wonder he can't shoot.
And then quickly, other state senators that you guys may know as public figures is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes,
I love the man, so I'll never talk ill of him.
Yes.
Correct. Doesn't matter. Politics doesn't matter.
Jesse
Dude's a legend.
Ventura.
He can barely speak English, though, so if he can do it,
Yeah.
what's that saying about us, right?
He's living the dream, right? Bill Burr's skit, the whole Bill Burr bit.
Oh, yeah. That's why I love that skit.
Yeah, it's the best skit where he talks about this guy who came from Latvia or Austria, whatever the fuck it is. He came here, he won Mr. Olympia, he became a movie star, he married a Kennedy, and he became the senator in California. It's like the best fucking bit.
He is. He's the American dream.
Yeah, exactly.
And then finally, for in terms of Dak for 2024 versus 2025 NFL free agents, specifically looking at quarterbacks.
Yeah.
In 2024, you got Russell, A-Rod, Matt Ryan, and Ryan Tannehill. And then you also have this past draft year's draft class like Joe Burrow, Tua, Jordan Love.
So wait, so Dak would meet those guys in free agency?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be in the 2024 class. And then
also Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson at that point would be a lot older. He'd probably
So
retire at that point.
Tannehill and Matt Ryan will probably be retired by then as well.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson might probably get another 2-year deal out of that after that. So
even
I get
A-Rod
why
will be getting up there in age as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, John, what I'm hearing is he's probably going to end up for $1 million at the Patriots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Just to ruin my life as a Dolphins fan. Just to ruin my life because they always do. Thank you, John, for all the help. But turns out we were right, you were wrong.
Always.
That's how it goes, I guess. That's been Jon Factually with John Eamon. Thank you for joining us. Terry, thank you for everything you've done today. You've been Terry. You've been Eagle. I've been Pease. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports. Don't know why we recorded that. I could just literally say that to end every show, but let's go with it.
Hot Sauce 10.
Hot Sauce, baby. Hot Sauce 10.
Hot Sauce 10 at Mike's Rub BBQ MTL.com.
Order 10% more because I think that's how math works.
Yeah.